A cloning visual effect is probably easier to do than you think, and in this video I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it on 2 different pieces of software.
The first technique is a cropping effect in Premiere Pro using a freeform mask and is very simple to do. This is the scene I'm going to recreate on Premiere, which featured in one of my recent videos. To set up the shot, I used a fixed camera so the background was perfectly still. This is absolutely crucial with this method. My camera, which I also use as a webcam, is permanently fixed just behind my computer monitor using a swing arm. More information about this in the video link above. In addition to my main office chair, I also placed a small stool at the back of the room for my clone. Now crucially, to make this technique work, I needed to split the room in 2 visually, one side each for my 2 clones. So I figured out before I started filming where the dividing line would be, as I needed to make sure that I didn't cross that line when filming on either side of the room. With that done, it was time to actually film the shot. First of all, I filmed the bit on the left of the screen sat close to the camera in my office chair. Notice how I'm visibly keeping to one side to avoid crossing that dividing line. Then, with the camera still rolling, I moved to the other chair at the back of the room and filmed that version of me on the right of the screen. So, with the filming done, time to edit in Premiere Pro and bring the 2 versions of me together in one shot.
Just before we get to the next bit, a big thank you if you've subscribed to my channel. Every time someone subscribes, it's a huge shot in the arm. It gives me the motivation to carry on making these videos, and it probably means more to me than you would imagine. If you've not yet subscribed, just hit that little button down there. It would absolutely make my day. Let's get back to it.
I've already trimmed the footage, so each version of me has its own separate clip, and I bring these into the project. Next up is to move the clips onto the timeline. I move the clip of me on the right side of the screen onto the timeline panel first, as I want this to be the bottom layer, because I'm not going to apply any effects to this at all. Then I move the other clip with me on the left of the screen onto the layer above. Now, at the moment, that's covering the bottom layer, so you can only see the top clip in the project monitor. So this is where the magic happens. I go over to Effects and type in Crop. Then I drag the crop effect onto the top video layer. Now it's time to create the freeform mask. I select the pen tool in the crop effects section and then start to draw a mask around the dividing line I talked about earlier. I zoom in on the project monitor so I can get the level of detail I want, and then just click accordingly to draw the mask the way I want it. I did try cropping a mask in a straight line from floor to ceiling, but because I'd filmed in natural light, the 2 halves of the wall looked a little bit odd. That's why I'm cropping around the keyboard and the edge of the wall instead. Now, with the mask drawn, there's just 2 more simple but crucial steps to do. I click on the inverted button and then bring one of the crop values up to 100%. Then I just click anywhere blank on the timeline to make the line of the mask disappear. If I want to see or adjust the crop mask again, I just select the clip and then click on the mask heading to see it again. In this example, you can see it's not quite cropped neatly to the very edge of the bottom of the screen, so I'll make a slight adjustment and it's looking good. I used this method on several scenes in that recent video, a few of which didn't make it into the cut. What I would say is that to really sell this effect, you need to plan the shot well so you know in advance where you're going to draw the mask, and preferably draw the mask around a stationary object to avoid the painstaking task of adjusting thousands of different keyframes when you're tracking a moving object. The second technique is a rotoscoping method using a combination of RunwayML and Premiere Pro. To set up, I attached my phone to a 6-foot tripod. More about this tripod in the video link above. And I placed it in a field before pressing record. I then walked back and forth and struck various different poses, and crucially left the camera running without me in the shot for about 10 seconds, so I had some blank background to work with later on in the edit. I then trimmed this footage into separate clips and headed on over to RunwayML, link below in the description. First, I select the Edit Videos option and then Remove Background. Next, I upload the clips that I want to edit. As I repeat exactly the same process with each clip, I'm just going to show you one of them. Now it's uploaded, I drag the clip onto the timeline. Then I scroll through the clip and find the optimum frame where I can see as much of my body as possible. making sure I'm fully in shot. Next, I zoom in and pick the smallest extremity on my body, in this case my nose, and start clicking to select the mask. I've noticed that sometimes the AI doesn't seem to detect these smaller details automatically, especially side profiles, so it's easier if you start the mask manually with these smaller details and then work inwards. With this example, I only have to do 3 clicks and it's done a pretty good job of creating a mask on my whole body. But before going any further, I zoom in and pan up and down to make sure the mask has captured every detail. Next, I click preview and the AI automatically tracks my body's mask for the whole duration of the clip. Once happy, I select Done Masking, which generates the green background. I export and download the video and repeat this process with all the other clips before importing them all to Premiere Pro. In Premiere, I drag the clip of the empty background onto video layer 1. I then drag the first clip of me walking around onto layer 2. To remove the green background, I go over to Effects and type in Ultra key and drag the effect onto the clip. Then select the color picker and click on the green. I then drag each layer in turn onto the timeline and repeat the process. Then it's just a case of resizing and moving each clip around until I'm happy. And that is it! I hope you've enjoyed the video and happy cloning!